right, to a degree, then you're slowing down the circulation.
Okay.
So as soon as you open it's like if you lay on your arms and you wake up in the morning and you got an eagle in your arm, it's just normally you feel like you can't even move the arm, you don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's true.
But the reason why you're getting those pins and needles because you've moved from a position where you were restricting the flow of the oxygen flow.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you squeeze up something tight, if you make a fist, if I pour water through your fist, it ain't gonna go through. But as soon as you open it, you can do anything. So the pins and needles are basically a rush of oxygen to the area, which kind of it just overwhelms the area. But it's not dangerous. It's just a bit weird. You understand? It's not. You know what I mean? No one likes it, but it's nothing. It's not harmful. It's actually a good thing. But you have to just wait till it goes, and that's it. I mean,
because it's quite interesting because I noticed that when I got cramp in my, especially when sometime in the morning time, right? Cramp in my legs, then right. It's only now I get to realize that it's lack of oxygen getting to the circulation of my foot, them. Yeah, and it's the way it's the way I sleep as well. So, yeah, what you're saying is absolutely right. You know.
Yeah, so I think with cramp as well, I think you have to consider things like sometimes the body's lacking magnesium.
Magnesium, all right then.
Yeah, because magnesium helps the muscle to relax itself.
Okay.
And it increases the circulation and the oxygen. It helps carry oxygen to the areas. So if you've got a decent magnesium in your body, you know, then you shouldn't really have cramps.
Right. Okay then. Well, listen, Miracle Man.
Yes, sir.
We call you Miracle Man for a particular reason because you're a man, you know, you deal with miracle. You come like the coming of Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, Dougie, what are you doing?
I wasn't quite gonna far. Hey, I wouldn't go that far. But Jesus did say, what? Right? He said, "Greater things than you shall do."
Yeah.
You do greater things than me. So you know what? I'm not saying a miracle man because people could misconstrue that as something different. I'm not being like, yeah, I believe in miracles totally, and that's what I'm here to help people, give people hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we see my man get comfortable now with some question. All of a sudden start ask some question like he want take away the show from me.
Once he starts coming, it just floods out.
It just flows.
That's all right.
The things about some sensible question too, some powerful question.
Yeah, very powerful. It's going to touch a lot of people. A lot of people out there going to relate to what he said.
Yeah, relate what he said.
A lot of us. Yeah.
I think. All right, then we're going to bring this segment to a close now, right? But we want to reason for probably next week and just reason more. But the objective really is to get more of an interest, so people can, when you come down, you have people come down and see you and so forth. See?
Yep. I'm looking to come a couple of days for the week. So yeah, man. Nice talking to you again, and you know, stay blessed. I will catch you up again.
Yeah, man. One love, yeah.
I respect.
One love.
Respect every time, yeah.
Take care.
I'll be back after a short break.
You're in tune to DJ Jammers on Bless Radio, UK's #1 station for great music. Don't touch that.
But me not free them, cause I'm a lyrical anomaly. Scientists them want to study me in a laboratory. My spiritual anatomy, it mystical like ancient scriptures and mythology. Biblical analogy, baby rock tougher than mineral geology. My spit and with the malice, the rhythm with no apology. It's written in my policy, the pyramid philosophy. It's simply not misogynist, it balance like equilateral of the isosceles. Me solve the cases like a criminal psychologist. They set the chromosome like me's a genetic biologist. Sociologists, them want to know me role in all of this. And government agree if me I go overthrow the parliament. Cause them a pose up like a ornament. All of them with argument, but them a take them orders from the corporate. Me sting them like a 40 leg. Self-sufficient now for beg a thing when we pop off for make police lock off them party them. I could a JLP, a BNP. Me not join political party, I could a JLP, a BNP. Me not afford for no damn party, alright then. Yeah, listen to the words when it's confessing. Tell me what our style and pattern we reblend. Enough of them are hidden and enough of them are hidden.
Cause I'm a lyrical alien. Serious aim from no get me wrong. Not the XM radio we play me song. From my neighbor string cut in the cradle. All the nurses in the hospital. I ask my mother where you get your baby from. How him know so big? How him think so long? If I did nowadays them would post it on Instagram. I'm not the typical, I'm lyrical. My melodies them critical and spiritual. Not take me for no simpleton. Give me the rhythm, make me see them like a Capleton. No care how you build it, fruity loops I could have Ableton. From me ear the bass prepare to kill me as the bass baby. Mix with a little bit too. From on a studio one. All the what you will not leave it.
On Bless Radio, UK's #1 station for great music. Don't touch that dial.
I'm way up. Contraband, is it the master plan? Contraband, you're taking up the farmer's land. Contraband, how it pass the border scan. Contraband, I end up in your data. Contraband, now what's in that recipe? Contraband, that giving me distress relief. Contraband, sell more than rice and peas. Contraband, feels so damn good to me. Well now this fucking dog sniffing me. Free to jar didn't leave a one spliff on me. If they found one they'd surely move swift on me. Family and friends would surely be missing me. Meanwhile, gang is having that epiphany. I'm being searched by a squad named Tiffany. The way she gird me, my something gets stiff on me. Still my slide through smooth like the chiffon bit. As they're done searching the pyramid, they turn their attention to the Grammy Kid. Dealing with a rasta like an invalid, demonstrating how Babylon wicked. When them ask about illegal substance, if these things were packaging, el-tapotting, shipping and the handling, these accusations are damaging. Them said them heard reggae artists trafficking. Contraband, is it the master plan? Contraband, taking up the farmer's land. Contraband, how it pass the border scan. Contraband, I end up in your data and contraband. Now what's in that recipe? Contraband, that's giving me distress relief. Contraband, it's sell more than rice and peas. Contraband, feels so damn good to me. There's some sirens approaching me. Call it back, I hope I didn't leave a roach on me. Everything is stashed right where it's supposed to be. But if not, I'll bail you off a post to me. Brother, I just see a picture with the post of me. Hang up on the wall and on the grocery. No one will judge of a favor when you go for me. But like it's covered like the Jam Masters. Yeah, but hey, our face
how you know, say John Wood say sound boy, you have a bite the dust.
Warning, been warning them from home. Hear the voice of the Most High Jah Rastafari calling. Remember I tell ya, blessed is the man, blessed is Selassie. Remember I tell ya, blessed is the man.
Listening to the Jam Masters Show on Bless FM with DJ Jammers.
Jam Masters, see me? How you know, say John Wood say sound boy, you have a bite the dust tonight.
Pull it! Hear the voice of the Most High Jah Rastafari calling. Remember I tell ya, blessed is the man, blessed is Selassie. Remember I tell ya, blessed is the man, blessed is Selassie.
Ethiopia stretched forth her hands and gave us the Redeemer of all man, defender of the faith, and Ethiopia needs the captain, the chief field marshal sergeant. Bowing at his feet, 72 nation, Ras Makonnen was crowned conquering lion. A Baba Janai, father of Africans, with Empress Menenai stand at his right hand. Meanwhile, in a Jamaica land, one heap of trial and tribulation. Chastisement was upon all African, Buster Manti said kill all Rasta man. What kind of Selassie that to know I call pan? Trim them and bring the whole of them a station. Never in the name of my King of England will I ever live to see the Rasta man redemption. But when the 2-6 clash, that's when the plane land. King of all kings touch down in Kingston. Would you believe? So said, so done. Buster man to blind couldn't see when the king come. Some of them deaf and see some of them dumb when they rise up against a Selassie kingdom. You politician with your evil agenda. Anyhow you this, just remember I tell you, blessings to man, blessings to
You're in tune to DJ Jammers.
Moving family, and as you probably know, now we've got another king in the house, Supreme. How you been keeping?
I'm going to say greetings to all the Bless radio listeners and presenters and all those, if you're in your car. I've got to say, you know, on Friday I was suffering from a condition, right? And the condition was called food poisoning.
Oh,
and
yeah, right, yes.
as you saw me
saw that,
on
yes.
Saturday, I felt absolutely terrible. I thought, gosh, I never knew a condition like this. I don't even know how to explain it. All I can say is that the tea came up, the dinner came up, everything come up, and I was totally drained.
Right.
Because listeners, all I'm going to tell you, in the morning, all I had to drink in the morning was a cup of tea, which I bought from a shop because I thought, let me get a cup of tea down me and get on with the work. And I'm working away till about 12 o'clock when I realised, my stomach's making some funny noises and I'm feeling that urge to go to the bathroom. And from that, I couldn't stop going. And then it just gradually got worse and worse, and I thought to myself, I didn't know what to do, because I was working locally. I ran home and I got some tablets, and everybody knows it. I think it was Imodium, but I thought, okay, that, give it an hour or so, it'll cut it down. It just seemed like it was just escalating the problem. I was driving and throwing up. I'm not a person, like, wow, what's going, like. And I felt slightly embarrassed because I had to pull over because I'm just throwing up. Right? And I'm thinking, I wonder if people think I'm a drunkard or something if I ask for help. But it just goes to show you, as a man, ego kicked in, like, I don't want people to see me like this. Let me just clean myself up and get myself just to lay down, and rest. And I think you saw me the next day.
Yeah, I see you really look drained.
Yeah, I was like, wow. And the after effect, I can't even explain the after effect. I had a headache in my eyes. I couldn't explain it. It was in my eye. I'm thinking, this is weird. How can I have a headache in my eye, round my forehead? I'm saying, no. This is not normal. But through talking to people, they say, no, what is a sign of dehydration? Right. The body's dehydrated, so I needed to get fluids and drink, eat bland food. I don't know if you've been there with that. Have you ever had that?
No, well, I had a thing that every time I touched water, it burnt. My skin was like burning me.
You're joking?
Yeah, every time I was touching water, my skin was burning me. Yeah, and what I found out is when my body was telling me to drink water. That's
your
what
body
it was telling me to drink water.
Yeah.
That was, and I realised, one minute, when was the last time I drank proper water? And I realised it must have been 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. So that, I think one thing of what you're saying as well, we're given all these scientific terms, but we're taught the wrong way of dealing with it. We see it as it's a problem. Where if we saw, your body's clearing out, your system's having a clear out, it's clearing out and it's cleansing you, then we wouldn't feel, the ego wouldn't come in so much if we knew the real function of all of the body odors, the mucus coming out. It's the actual body.
You're right, Jammers, you're absolutely right, because the body's rejecting the germ that's entered into the body. I did think, gosh, do I look like a scene from The Exorcist? You know, when you know, and I was quite worried about breathing because obviously when you're projecting, at the same time you can't breathe.
Right.
And I'm like, you know, like, I don't know if people have lung problems, they'll understand that when you're coughing and you've got an uncontrollable cough and you can't breathe, it's very scary. You know.
Well, I remember because we went to the Speakers Club at Errol Hines. Now, how healthy he looks.
Yeah.
You know, because Errol Hines is suffering from prostate cancer, but now he's taking all the correct nutriments for his body. And if you look at he's in a fine bill of health. You know, and the problem is the last thing we look towards is our body. The only time we look at it when it's trying to get rid of excess mucus and disease, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, it's very interesting. I know this program's not about that, but the body's actually gives you the signs, and it might be a natural defense, as we're saying, to vomit, to go toilet, but we should be aiding the body as well by drinking the right things and eating the right things.
Yeah, and that's the language. It's the language. If we were saying from a child the body's cleansing rather than saying something like vomit, then we would be more proactive.
Oh, sorry, I hear what you're saying.
We'd be more proactive in letting the body perform its natural function.
Yeah, because it actually, I said to myself, you know what I'm gonna do? I've had this experience on Friday. I started to ask people, you know, and it's like almost like an endorsement. I started to ask people, what do you think about colon cleansing? And some people say no, it's not good, and some people say yes, it is good. Some people say is it Emina bag, because you know, some people say the colonic irrigation means that the water shoots up your body, so it pushes some of the stuff up to come out. I don't really know, but it's just through talking to people that I don't know what is good or bad. But I started to say, well, if the body's jarred up, especially the colon, with all these feces and all these things in it, how do we get rid of it naturally, or how do we? Because some people say you have to do it a period of time, but I also listened to my mum when my mum said is to eat husfilium, or husfilium is a way of getting the body to clean the colon.
Right.
Now I don't want people to think that I'm giving them. I'm just saying that's just through talking through people. When I've gone to the doctor, fun enough, and I've asked him, and the doctor I spoke to wasn't my regular doctor. She turned round to me and she said, "This is the doctor. There's no scientific research to say that colonical irrigation works."
This is a doctor.
But that is just the thing. We were talking about this yesterday. If something is not scientifically proved, they will not endorse it. Do you understand with the point we're trying to get? Where we might say natural, having natural herbs, if you eat this way over a period of time. Scientific will do with quantity, data, research, and over a period of time. So I started to think that's very interesting, you know, because look at the situation where we have, let's say, like someone like Dr. Sabi, and they say, well, you're not actually a doctor as such. You're a doctor in name. But to be a doctor, let's say a doctor, they say that you have to go, let's say 6 to 8 years at college, PhD and all these things, and you have to go through the science of a medical history. And you are the wordsmith. You have to get yourself an ology. And anything that has ology at the end, am I right, Jammers?
You're correct, you're correct.
Means the science of something.
Yep.
So if Jammers said he is a etymologist and he studies etymology, you're studying the science of words, is it?
Yep.
Or the root science of words?
That's correct, yeah.
I'm learning off you, you know. That's why I'm here, you know.
You're correct. No,
you know?
correct,
What, you know? I used to think, well, there's another thing, and I heard someone else talk about this, and I can't remember what radio station I heard this on, but it's very interesting when somebody said the word ism.
Yeah, I think that was me.
Is it you? Ism?
Yeah, ism. That was me. In relation to racism.
No, ism. What is a ism? If you put something with an ism, because when I talk to some Rastas, they say it's not Rastafari ism. Ism is not good. I've been told. I don't know. I'm glad I'm here with you. Anything with ism is questioned. I don't know if that's right, wrong, or, you know, I'm open to reasoning this with you yourself and the listeners.
I'm just gonna
yeah.
You just caught me.
So
I'm gonna go back.
You know what? And it's so funny, you know. I haven't got my glasses here, but I've got a dictionary in front of me. I'm slightly jumping, which I managed to obtain this weekend, called the Dictionary of Slang. And I was just gonna look up what is an ism in it.
Right, okay.
What is a, obviously ology is a science or something, but just like we're talking, when we have a word and we put the last 4 words on it or 5 words added on it, means the something of this, the adjective or the noun of this, you know. And I'm here with the etymologist, and I'm just throwing up some questions. And also, once again, I've got to say, greetings to brother Dougie, eating his carrot juice. Man, you don't turn orange. Yeah. You know, I'm gonna crack a joke with Dougie. Remember, somebody said they came on the radio and the man was drinking this blue thing till he turned blue. You know, I don't know if that's actually possible.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. When we look at the body, let's say, I am not a health expert, but what organ in the body does the cleansing?
I believe it's the liver.
Yeah.
Yeah, liver.
So.
The liver.
So this is the thing that I was gonna ask. There's no health advocates, and hopefully anyone who's listening can ring in. Why is it if the body and the organ known as the liver, right? And this just goes into the topic that I'm saying. They say if you're alcoholism, let's say, why is it that people know that alcohol is no good for the liver, but yet they will drink? Yet they will get drunk. Yet they will defile their body to drink liquor, alcohol, but yet it's mashing up their liver. In other words, you're overworking something and damaging something. You understand? And no disrespect to anyone who is in that predicament and they have a liver problem, you know. But I want to know, why is it that people that are on this road of just drinking over capacity of their body, that they're putting their liver under pressure? Yeah? That I've seen some people change colour, because we're just talking about that. And you look in their eyes,
it's red.
Even the doctor can say,
yeah,
you know, your eyes, look, you can see the jaundice in your eye, or you can see your eyes are now showing the signs of, is it the bloodshot?
Yeah.
Right? And alcohol.
Toxic, yeah, your body's
you ever
toxic,
notice that someone who's really alcoholic, is, you know, mentioning people of colour, their nose seems to come up with a low, really, really red and very bumpy around the nose. I don't know why that is, but if you see someone who's a true alcoholic on the street, their nose seems to just become inflamed and
because the body's over toxic, innit? So it's just over, yeah, definitely, yeah, absolutely right. Yeah.
So that's very interesting. You use that word. The body has become toxic.
Yeah. Well, you see, I got this lot of information I get from the Honourable Dr. Lay Africa, and this said that because when he said that what's the most important part of the body in terms of getting rid of waste and stuff, and I had to think about it, right? And when Jam said the liver, I said yes, and that's what Africa always talk about, the liver. And he says that the liver, it's important that you strengthen the liver all the time, every single day. And he talk about milk thistles, what strengthens the liver, and liver plays a very key role, in our survival in our body. Got to keep that healthy and strong. And I'm glad to see you bring that onto the into the mix.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, if you look at the word liver, you see the word live in it. So that gives an indication of the job that it performs. Ism means to perform an action.
Ism?
Yeah, so basically racism means to perform the action of race. Race means competition. So racism is when you're in competition with someone. Alcoholism means to perform the action of alcohol. Alcohol comes from the Latin word, and also it comes to the Arabic word alcohol. The word kol means it's something that's obtained by sublimation of the spirit. So basically the spirit has been put under some kind of force. So that's where the word kol. So basically you're inclined to put your spirit under some kind of force. That's where the word alcoholism comes. And just to end it with, alcohol is an addict. Addict comes from the word diction. Diction means what your body is telling you to do. Ad means to move. Diction means what is said. So something is said to your body's senses to move in a certain way. It could be through the adverts, could be through the sugar intake, could through what feelings you've got from the consumption. So it's the inner voice that's telling you to move to a certain thing.
Spin Doctor here, Supreme. What is alcohol? Is alcohol molasses? Is it molasses? Is it fermentation of something? Mm-hmm. Is it molasses? Which molasses is sugar? Mm-hmm. Am I right? Is it? Am I right?
It's a colourless, volatile, flammable liquid, which is produced by the natural fermentation of sugars, and is the intoxication constituent of beer, wine, spirits, and other drinks. So it's what intoxicates you. It's the intoxicating element.
Yeah, but it's just sugar though.
That's what I'm saying originally. So when we look at where I may be wrong, but I'm just looking to reason this out. The first time I ever heard of molasses and alcohol is from pirates. From pirates in the plantation. I know, when we used to watch these films, and the pirates were always drunk. You ever never see that? And their tea is rotten. So what did they used to do to get the people merry or get more work out of them, or to make them docile? They used to give them rum. Give every man a rum. A barrel of rum. And where did this rum come from? And we have to look at the history of this rum. It's from the plantation.
Plantation, absolutely.
And the thing is, we might say, I may be wrong. I stand to be corrected. Ray's and nephew is a distiller. But I think you got Captain Morgan. What's the name of all these? You lot know the rums. I saw you weekend drinking. But the name of when you say someone Captain, what's the Captain one called? Captain Morgan.
Captain Morgan.
Is he a pirate?
Yeah, more like
but what I'm saying. So are we drinking the legacy of a pirate?
No, you're absolutely right.
Are we drinking the legacy of a pirate who was endorsed by a country to go rob and rape to bring this alcohol back?
Let me just break something down. Alcohol causes intoxication. The word intox is a French word. Yeah, it means to trick, deceive, or fool. So basically,
trick, deceive,
or we're not fool. Or trick fool. Or deceive, or hoax, something that's false. So basically, this sugar was put to trick, to get you to work or to get you happy because they had another plan for you.
Yeah. Who had another plan?
Well, if you look at what drinks are used for, usually they're on the table to get somebody light-hearted, because It could be a lady,
Mary,
with, Mary, or you could have a business proposition, or you want to tell someone some bad news. You know, so basically, it's to put your spirit in a manipulative way that I can maneuver to get whatever I desire from you, from the tox or the toxin that I'm putting you in to make you sin with toxin.
Wow.
You know, so that's what tox means. So when you're intoxicated, it means you've been tricked.
Can a person, this is a question that I said the other day and I put this out. Can a person get drunk drinking non-alcoholic drink?
Yes, they can. 100%. Basically, if you heard of, you know, that was it the thing with the pill, when once you've got that belief system in place, anything you think can become a false reality.
Yeah, I would like to
say that again.
Yes.
Say that again.
Yeah, once there's a belief system in place, anything you believe will come real based on a false reality.
Okay, that's quite heavy.
But I would like to perform an experiment, but I've given it away.
What's the brandy and wine?
No,
no,
but I would have loved to have poured a non-alcoholic drink in an alcoholic bottle to see if the person's mind is telling them that you're getting drunk. You have finished this bottle. You've now got to be in a non-capacity. You understand the point I'm trying to make? It's like a placebo, like
I
you
just want to say, basically, if you look at the word addiction, so maybe something that's said to make you move in a certain place. So basically, in your mind, you've already programmed what feeling you're going to get when you take that bottle. So it's your mind that stimulates the program, and the bottle is just a device to make that program go into action. So you already you produce the feeling in your body anyway. So once you've got the belief system that you're drinking rum, you know, and you've got the music and you've got the environment there. When you take it, you're not thinking it's water. You're believing it's rum. You're gonna act what you believe to be true.
Do you know? I'm gonna tell you a sad story.
It's powerful.
This is a very sad story that I saw the other day. I don't know the full picture. I mean, I'm gonna just tell people a snapshot of what happened the other day, an incident that I had, and this is just part of the incident because I had to kind of, what do you call, reprimand a young lady, and what it is, this lady bumped into me, and I was going into the off license, and she turned around to me and she said, can I give her £1? So I said, you know, like, I thought, okay, I'll give you £1. So I didn't see what she bought with the £1. I did not see. As I'm coming out the shop, she said, thank you very much for the £1, but I'm selling myself. And am I interested? And I went, what? What are you on about? She says, then in her hand, with the £1 that I've given her, she's bought a drink called Scrumpy Jack. I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
but I said, what? I said, sis, what's going on here? Because it's a young black girl. I said, sis, what's going on here? She goes, look, I need to sell myself because I have no gas and electric at home and I feel ashamed. I said, well, you come to the wrong person. And I said, don't you think you got all your priorities wrong? So she goes, why? I said, you asked me for £1 and you said you haven't got no gas and electric, but you bought yourself a Scrumpy Jack. Do you get what I'm saying? So I said, you know what she said to me? Her answer was, I needed something to get me warm first, which was a Scrumpy Jack. And I said to you, you're very stupid, aren't you? I said, you're going to get drunk, you're selling yourself, but this is the state that I believe the alcohol has got her in. Because she's trying to sustain a habit, like you said, an addiction. And I don't know this drink, Scrumpy Jack. What is it? What is Scrumpy Jack?
I don't know. I've seen it, but I don't know about it. It must be some kind of...
Is it a watered down beer or something? I don't know.
Because the expert critters is not here. See, he would be able to tell you
beer. I'm not too sure. No, I don't know.
Cider,
I've seen it. I don't know what it is. It might be cider. I don't know, beer or something. You know.
But I just want to just go back a little bit with what you're saying. You really have to look at what doctor really means, you know, because as a noun, as a name, it means a teacher. But the action that a doctor performs, just go to a dictionary, even though I don't like dictionaries. Go to a doctor, see what the verb, when someone's called a doctor's doing something, it means to change the content or appearance of something, to deceive or falsify, to alter the content of food or drink by adding strong or harmful ingredients. I say that again. A doctor is someone who alters the content of food or drink by adding strong or harmful ingredients. This is what a doctor, if you be qualified to a doctor, you've got to have the ability to add strong or harmful ingredients to food or drink.
You know, as human beings, we're very intelligent people. But sometimes there's a thing called intelligent fools. You understand? How can we... I don't know how to go forward on that. But my point is that we know something is wrong. We may know the cure. That's what I'm saying, the doctor. But the doctor's saying to me, they need scientific research.
The reason why that is, as I said, the doctor is someone who changes or gives harmful products. They're not curious. They're not called curious.
Yeah, but
they're called alterers.
What is a tablet? A tablet technically is a synthetic version of a herb. But when you break it down, what you understand?
Yeah.
It's almost like a not artificial, what do you call this? A virtual herb. But synthetically. Go ahead.
This is what the doctor. What does he do? He gives you a drug.
Yeah.
He doesn't give you a cure. He gives you a drug. What does a drug do? A drug just makes your senses dull to the pain. It doesn't cure nothing. And most of these drugs have got a long-term detrimental effect to the body.
But this is where I'm going again with it. We're very intelligent human beings. But when, like you said, and you break down the word, you go to the farm and see.
Yeah, well, if you look at the word pharmacist, you see the word harm in the middle of it. Yeah, that's staring you right in the face. The harm is right.
Then we go to the doctor's practice.
Yeah, so they're testing out. And when you're a patient just means you got to wait. That's what patient means just wait. It doesn't mean I'm going to cure you. It means just lie there or sit there for a long period of time. That's all it means.
But let me jump in here, because when you say that we're extremely intelligent human being, but at the same time we're very stupid.
No, right. Yeah, I never said stupid.
Not
we
stupid.
Can be intelligent fools.
Intelligent fools, right? Right? Intelligent fools, right? Let's really examine what you said there, and there's truth in that. But you're gonna, all right then, for example, right? Right? It says on the packet of cigarettes, smoking kills. Right? It says it quite clearly. And in fact, people spend what? I don't know, just a packet of cigarette 20s. Is it £7, £8? I don't know. But it says that. So, what is it that it says smoking kills, but yet again we spend money to kill ourselves?
But Dougie,
hold on a second, right? Right. So they've done a number on us over a period of time. So we're being programmed, right? We're being programmed. Now then, you asked a very intelligent question in terms of non-alcoholic drink, right? Can someone still be turn to be alcoholic, right? And Jamus gave a very wise explanation. I don't know where Jamus get that deep explanation from, but I was quite impressed, right? That once you create the feeling, and Jamus, correct me if I've misrepresented information. Once you create the feeling, right? Create that feeling. You create that once you create that feeling in your mind, right? Right. You've already created that kind of event, and you already
just to go back. Once you've created the idea, then you create the feeling.
Okay. So once you create the idea, you create the feeling, right? So already you create the feeling, and already you're in that kind of environment.
You program your body to to activate that emotion.
That emotion. So therefore, yes, you can be, will be alcoholic because you've created that feeling, and create the feeling of the emotion, and and so forth. And that's very powerful. And that's what they have done to us.
Yeah, and another thing is that through what you're saying as well, they've eliminated. We're not intelligent because basically we're not seeing what the word is really telling us. So we're hearing the word doctor, but we're not seeing doctor means to give you something harmful. We're not recognizing it doesn't mean to cure. We're not recognizing when someone gives you a drug, it's just going to make you dull. We're not recognizing when you're a patient, it just means to wait. So then we're expecting a cure, but there's no word in this that says cure. You know what I mean? The doctor is just there to make money for the prescription that he's giving you. You know, he's in a financial business. He wants to keep you taking the drugs. If he cures you, then there's no business for a doctor. You see, the word doctor means to alter or harm. So, you see, once we can start to hear what these words really mean. Medical means to meddle. Basically, they're just going to go into you to just try a little thing with the drugs they've got to see, how much business they can generate. There's no word cure in this.
Well, as you just said, we were saying that it's definitely not definitely. We know this is a business. They're in it to make money. As simple as that. But come back to your thing about intelligence, right? That we need to understand that we've been programmed, right? A way of doing things. Been programmed our taste buds. We've been programmed to be addictive to certain food. Do you know that in cigarettes there is sugar in cigarettes? Do you know that, James?
Basically, everything is a small form of drug.
Small form of drug. Even in medicine, even in medicine, there's sugar in medicine.
Yes. Everything. If you look at the sweet industry, it's competition to get you addicted to their form of sweets. Everything with sugar in it or salt is a drug. So basically, but because the government's making money off it, it's legalized drugs.
So that's why they keep us addictive to all these sweet stuff, and sugar is the root of all of this, and right? And what sugar is, it's like a burglar. It robs all the nutrients from the body. That's where you understand why many of our people have diabetes, prostate, and cancer. So it's all about the sugar. Sugar is the root of it, and it kind of explains why we're addicted to certain things. What Supreme bring to the table? What's true?
Yeah, and basically, as you said, intelligent. Basically, it's because it's the word sophistication. Sophistication just means the love of using a big word. So when people get educated or sophisticated, they're just using big words, but it doesn't mean that you're wise. And sophistication also means to mislead or corrupt, because you're using a big word to try and fool somebody into taking your drug because you've got a big fancy word on it, but it really means poison. When you look at the ingredients, it means putting a label on something and make people focus on the label but not the ingredients. You see, this is the trick that they use with the language system, that they tell you to your face what you're giving you, because you see Pepsi Cola and you see the sexy lady and the bottle shape even look like a woman, so you got to drink the bottle because the bottle look like a woman, and the sugar, you're not really looking at what the ingredients are. It's got acid and it's got all of these chemicals that are going to destroy your body.
Well, the industry, as Brother Dougie said, of cigarettes was programmed that you look cool, and as you're looking cool, you're actually getting addicted to the nicotine. And if you look on the makeup of a cigarette, has so many carcinogenic particles or things that it's made up of. And today I don't even want to be going through some of them. One of them is formaldehyde, and some. But we've realised that they put out this campaign that smoking kills. But what they're doing, they know that this is an institution and an industry, so you can't get rid of it. You're getting taxes from it, but we still. It is probably the industry monitoring itself to say, you know what? They know that people are addicted. They know that the reason why there's a big campaign is because the health industry is struggling to keep up with people who have got lung cancer. That's the reason probably why there's a big campaign. But look what the industry or the let's say the media has now brought out, this new designer thing. It's not so new now that everybody's doing the vaping. Have you noticed these vape cigarettes?
Good point.
With
good point,
electronic, electronic vaporizing, simulating smoking, but at the same time, I still see it as unsociable for someone to puff a vapor right in my face, but they're saying it's okay. I think that's nasty. That's me personally. A lot of people say, no, it's just vape. But I'm saying,
agree with you.
no, it's wrong.
Because I went into a newsagent and there's a young guy talking to the guy behind the counter, talking about his girlfriend and a coil. And I thought, well, that's a bit blatant to be discussing something sexual in a newsagent shop. But when I realised they're talking about the vaping device and which one's more potent than the other. Yeah. You know, so it's, as you're saying, I just want to quickly, I've got to quickly some community events because I'm going to have to leave and leave you to continue. We're going to have a big launch called the Big Lunch Core Stability at White Hart Lane Recreation Ground on Sunday the 8th of July 2018. And this is going to be a major event at White Hart Lane, so make sure you make that a date for your diary. We're telling you now, but we're going to have a big family day out, and that's taking place at White Hart Lane Recreation Ground, Sunday the 8th of July 2018. Also, every Saturday, I've got to remind you that we've got a Saturday school taking place, and that's at Clarendon Road, Turnpike Lane. It's the Selena Project, and that's every Saturday, where you can go to the Saturday school. For information on that, you can call me on 07469 07. I'll give you the phone number a little bit later. But basically, there's two events. One again is the Big Lunch Core Stability at White Hart Lane Recreation Ground, Sunday the 8th of July 2018. The second event is the Saturday school that takes place every Saturday, and that's at Turnpike Lane, the Afro Cultural Centre, and it's the Kush Seller Project. So the Saturday school is from 11 AM to 2 PM, and that's from ages 5 till 14 or 5 to 15. If you're interested, you can contact 07377 131 834. Once again, that's 07377 131 834, and it's an excellent event for young people where they can learn art, English, maths, etymology, and African history. And I just had to say that. And also, I'd like to thank everyone who attended the Speakers Club as a successful event on Sunday. And back to our discussion. So basically, what I like to say, addiction, if you notice, Dougie, everything's a fantasy. Everything's based on a dream, a fantasy. If you look at all of the companies are manufacturing an idea of grandeur or visual entertainment, how great you will be by taking their products. So they're already programming your mind to say things to your body to get the products. And that's what addiction is. It's addiction means means to move. Diction means a voice, what your voice is telling you to do. Absolutely. Thank you. I'm out of here.
Okay then.
Over to you.
Okay, so James has to make a quick exit and join him again here. Time from 6 to 8. So we continue the reasoning.
Oh, sorry. One more thing. Currently busting up the charts is, I got to give him a mention, even though his band is Critter's new single. I'm not an American, and if you go to the Speakers Club YouTube channel, you can see that's busting up the charts. It's a take on This Is America. It's a take on that. So you go and see that video yourself, and you can see Critters has gone crazy, him jumping on car, him all over the place. Yeah.
All right, the great, the biggest lick right now. Critters, busted up the chart. I'm not American, So we're going to the Speakers Club, right? And you see all the seminars from the Speakers Club, and everything comes up, and it's one of the biggest on YouTube in the Speakers Club, in the Speakers World. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. One more thing, we've got to start to direct our own car because we've been told through religion and other things that leave everything alone and some spirit is going to save you. But no, if you look at every other race on the planet, they're directing their own vehicle. Your vehicle is you. So we've got to start taking control of our own emotions, take control of our visions, and optimizing the potential that we want to achieve moment to moment, as what was stated with Dougie's insert.
Absolutely. Okay then. So we do have the great man Jam is gonna make an exit very shortly now. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play something from here. Play.
Thoughts dwelling on what someone did to you or what you are going to do to him or her, then you have become unconscious and the pain body has become you. Where there's anger, there's always pain underneath. Or when a dark mood comes upon you and you start getting into a negative mind pattern and thinking how dreadful your life is, your thinking has become aligned with the pain body and you have become unconscious and vulnerable to the pain body's attack. Unconscious, the way that I use the word here, means to be identified with some mental or emotional pattern. It implies a complete absence of the watcher. Sustained conscious attention severs the link between the pain body and your thought processes and brings about the process of transmutation. It is as if the pain becomes fuel for the flame of your consciousness, which then burns more brightly as a result. This is the esoteric meaning of the ancient art of alchemy, the transmutation of base metal into gold, of suffering into consciousness. The split within is healed, and you become whole again. Your responsibility then is not to create further pain. Let me summarize the process. Focus attention on the feeling inside you. Know that it is the pain body. Accept that it is there. Don't think about it. Don't let the feeling turn into thinking. Don't judge or analyze. Don't make an identity for yourself out of it. Stay present and continue to be the observer of what is happening inside you. Become aware not only of the emotional pain, but also of the one who observes, the silent watcher. This is the power of the now, the power of your own conscious presence. Then see what happens. For many women, the pain body awakens particularly at the time preceding the menstrual flow. I will talk about this and the reason for it in more detail later. Right now, let me just say this. If you are able to stay alert and present at that time and watch whatever you feel within, rather than be taken over by it, it affords an opportunity for the most powerful spiritual practice, and a rapid transmutation of all past pain becomes possible. The process that I have just described is profoundly powerful yet simple. It could be taught to a child, and hopefully one day it will be one of the first things children learn in school. Once you have understood the basic principle of being present as the watcher of what happens inside you, and you understand it by experiencing it, you have at your disposal the most potent transformational tool. This is not to deny that you may encounter intense inner resistance to disidentifying from your pain. This will be the case particularly if you have lived closely identified with your emotional pain body for most of your life, and the whole or large part of your sense of self is invested in it. What this means is that you have made an unhappy self out of your pain body and believe that this mind-made fiction is who you are. In that case, unconscious fear of losing your identity will create strong resistance to any disidentification. In other words, you would rather be in pain, be the pain body, Then take a leap into the unknown and risk losing the familiar, unhappy self. If this applies to you, observe the resistance within yourself. Observe the attachment to your pain. Be very alert. Observe the peculiar pleasure you derive from being unhappy. Observe the compulsion to talk or think about it. The resistance will cease if you make it conscious. You can then take your attention into the pain body, stay present as the witness, and so initiate its transmutation. Only you can do this. Nobody can do it for you. But if you are fortunate enough to find someone who is intensely conscious, if you can be with them and join them in the state of presence, that can be helpful and will accelerate things. In this way, your own light will quickly grow stronger. When a log that has only just started to burn is placed next to one that is burning fiercely, and after a while they are separated again, the first log will be burning with much greater intensity. After all, it is the same fire. To be such a fire is one of the functions of a spiritual teacher. Some therapists may also be able to fulfill that function, provided that they have gone beyond the level of mind and can create and sustain a state of intense conscious presence while they are working with you.
You mentioned fear as being part of our basic...
Greetings, Brother Dougie. Greetings.
How you been? You good?
I'm good enough, fam.
Okay, fantastic. So, let people know who we have on the line here, because you're not no ordinary man, still, brethren, you know what I mean? Because I'm looking forward to reason with you, because the reason you gave the other day, man, I was full time myself, and I couldn't even question you or try to turn you upside down, nothing like that, because if I do that, I'm going to turn myself upside down, because you're coming so power. But what I like about you, my brother, you gave clarity, clarity, and let people know that this brother, we're talking about the reparation, and people talk about, boy, we should be marching is this and that and real, but when the brother break down the whole thing about reparation, what we should about doing, it's not about the march, everything, it's about repairing the mind, and also look at the historical context, what's been happening to us and so forth, see? And brother, we just love the reasoning, you know what I mean? Things just sweet me. But let people know a little bit about yourself and why should we go into the reparation. Yeah.
Alright, yeah. Just straight, the name is Oloye Gege. Some may know me as, Amlak Tukuru. Others may know me back in the day as Ja Black, and Dougie, you may know me back in the days as Black Tip.
Yeah, that's what I mean. From the early days of the boss, that's the big spoken words, man. Yeah, big up in chest name time there.
Yeah, the BLAK. That was the first BLAK.
Yeah, man, me know. Yeah, man.
So presently now the works is all about reparation. So working with the African Emancipation Day Reparation March Committee. Based here in the south of London, the works that has been going on for the past 4 years, and this is the 5th year of putting together and supporting the reparations drive, and for our visual, display of what we're speaking of what we're demanding for the world to know, for this government to know. So the march is a visual demonstration of disruption, on that day, but a peaceful disruption at the same time, organized disruption at the same time. As we say, as I was saying to you last time, the committee here is our brother Prophet Kweku, co-chair, Sister Jen Dai, also a co-chair, with our sister Esther Stanford Jose, who is our main media spokesperson. We have our brother Delani, who is our merchandising and media also. He's working in the media field, outreach field also. Everybody's working in outreach, to be quite true, to talk the truth when it comes to reparation. We have our sister Zebi, who is our chief groundsperson and working in many other activities also. So on the day of managing the square, Winrush Square in Brixton, Sister Zebi is our chief coordinator on the ground there. We have, we have our sister Toya, young Princess Empress Toya, who's working on the administration in the background. This is what people also have got to recognize, that each year there's administration issues that need to be taken care of. This your government, that's your police, this your person, this, you understand, organized buying and all these sort of things in which we have no money. This is another side of it, is this is totally done off the backs of we. No one pays us, no one funds us except we, who funds us. Also on the committee there is Brother Leo Mohammed. As people may know, Leo Mohammed supports in the security aspect in terms of securing the march for us, on the day, alongside the stewards that play an equal and important role. Security stewards equally important, ensuring that we on the day are protected, from others, and we are also protected from ourselves, at the same time. You don't know, and that's the reality. So we give thanks for Brother Leo and the sisterings, all the sisters too. We can't just keep looking at security in a male frame. There's a feminine aspect of our security, and this needs to be reminded, this needs to be remembered, by all of us, because we're actually really all there safeguarding our children. But
but you see, let me just say this, that I've been to reparation for the last, from we first started, when I started the march down in Brixton about
2014.
I've been, and it's like a military machine, you know what I mean? And you just take things for granted, because I mean, when you start breaking down certain apartments and departments and who's the head of this and who's involved with this and that, right? It's literally a military machine, and people so oiled together and working in unity of our people. You have to get involved in what way, you know what I mean? If it means just going out and just letting people know and promoting, it's just amazing.
Glad you're saying it in that, because the expressions that individuals give of the march shows the power of we. Because to tell the truth, it's each and every single individual either walking with their ancestor, walking with pride, walking with dignity, knowing on that day, we're making a statement, you understand, to the world, to know that we are not forgotten. It isn't about the wind rush, it is about the Africa crush that went on, you understand? Mashwito, the Sualam, and they rushed in, and they were still rushing in, and they're always rushing in, so we have to recognize that on this day we're really educating our children about the world history, and we're educating Europeans about their history, and it's very painful, because we're actually talking about repair, so it's like that's the level that we're dealing with. It's beautiful to hear you say that, Brother Dougie, because it shows how organized we are as a people when we actually do gather and come together. It shows that, nobody's telling us to behave, but we know how to conduct ourselves.
Absolutely. So tell me something, why reparation? Why people need to come out and march and so forth? Why? Because I mean, people are listening right now. People say, why we need to come out and march and think? But why should we come out and march? Okay.
Well, I'll read the statement, which is from the African Emancipation Reparation March Committee. This statement is very important. It's a little bit lengthy, and I do say to the listeners and to be patient with us in overstanding this very important message, and to bringing yourself and up to date with what's happening, so that we're not caught up sideways, left ways, not knowing what's happening. We now know what's happening. This is an official statement from the African Emancipation Day Reparation March, and it answers that very same question: why we march on the 1st of Messiah? Why do we march on the 1st of Messiah? And it says the African Emancipation Day Reparation March Committee, formed in 2015, continues to build on the work of the organizers of the first Reparation March, RMUK, and other supporting organizations on the 1st of August 2014. after such organizers decide that would be a one-off event, various community members and their constituency at the time insisted that they wanted to march to continue the efforts that had been made to more visibly bring to the public consciousness awareness of the reparations movement. The 1st of Messiah was originally chosen, or 1st of August was originally chosen as the day of the reparation march because it is the official recognized Emancipation Day, marking the passing of the Act of the abolition of slavery throughout the British colonies, for promoting the industries of the limited slaves and for compensating the persons hitherto entitled to the services of such slaves, also known as the Slavery Abolition Act, on the 1st of August 1833 and took effect on the 1st of August 1834. The significance of this date in history is that it is the date that after all of the years of resistance by shackled Africans torn away from our motherland, Britain and its fellow European enslavers of African people were compelled to recognize that they could no longer continue to enslave us without severe consequences. So we understand, you know, the revolts, the Haitian revolution, the various revolutions that was taking place throughout the Caribbean and even in the Americas. It therefore represented a symbolic day recognizing our refusal to accept enslavement in every manner, including its present day manifestations, and that's key, including its present day manifestations, and also to remind ourselves of the need of our true emancipation, for our true emancipation, which will not occur without holistic reparatory justice. Contrary to popular belief, however, this is another important part of the statement, what people to be hearing. Contrary to the popular belief, however, the Slavery Abolition Act did not free Africans. We were then unjustly considered to be the legal property of the Britons enslaving class. In fact, the Act contained a provision for £20 million financial compensation to the enslavers by the British taxpayers for the loss of their so-called property. That sum represented 40% of the total government's expenditure for 1834, the modern equivalent of between 16 billion and 17 billion, and represented the largest bailout in British history until the bailout of the bankers in 2009. It was the British House of Parliament which, in this unjust piece of legislation, upheld the notion that the African enslaved and their descendants were not humans but property, and determined that our people in the Caribbean were assessed as having a market value of £47 million. The British Parliament also determined that enslaved Africans in British colonies would receive nothing. Instead, they were forced through the provision of this unjust law to pay the remaining £27 million costs for their so-called emancipation by providing 45 hours of unpaid labour each week for the former masters for a further 4 years after the passing of the Abolition Act. Clearly, the British state cemented this legislative form of injustice by forcing the enslaved, and I want people to remember, when we use the word enslaved, we're talking your foreparents, your grandparents, your mother's parents, your mother's parents, your father's parents. That is the reality of what we're talking, you know, is that they forced the enslaved to pay part of the cost for their legislated manumission. It was recently discovered that up until 2015, our people, you, me, right now in this 2018, and other members of the British public were paying taxes which went into the paying off the debt that was incurred by the British government as a result of the compensating European enslavers with the passing of the Slavery Abolition Act. And there is a petition online. You can find that on the Stop the website, you know, to sign the petition, telling them, look, we want to be enumerated in our taxes.
But hold on, use the word. Was it
that? That's what.
No, the
we all
word
should be claiming that.
All right, but use word. What's the word you use? Monalese.
Monganese.
That's it. I mean, people might be hearing that for the first time. And what is that? I know it's a Swahili word, but what does it mean?
Good question, Dougie. Let me just get to the end of
oh,
this
sorry, beg your pardon, my brother. But
no, it's nearly done. Nearly finished, and then I'll answer that question.
Yeah.
All right. So fast forward we're fast forwarding to the contemporary era. The African Emancipation Day Reparations March has aims and are the reasons why we march on the 1st of Messiah or August. Please visit the reparationsmarch.org website for more information to familiarize yourself with those aims. The march is supposed to be a accumulation of the work that people are engaged in all year round on reparations, which is represented in the message and the banner that people bring on the march. It is also a show of our people's power and show of our strength in support of reparations. Unfortunately, it is still seen as a one-day event with no attention paid to reparations activism the other 364 days of the year. The 1st of August allows us to tie in and reclaim a day popularly known and commemorated as Emancipation Day and reclaim it as a reparation day, which enables our people also living in former British colonies to engage with it also. Many former colonies have the 1st of August or the 1st of Messiah as a public holiday as granted by the government, often on the basis of activists on the grounds who feel it is important to commemorate the struggle of our ancestors for emancipation. The African Emancipation Day Reparation March Committee is not advocating a state-granted public holiday. Remember that. We're not asking for a state-granted public holiday and feel there is more power in disruption in London to state agencies and the economy, as well as to increase the visibility to international tourists during the holiday season. We do not advocate state recognition of a day where they will, as they always do, redefine the narrative, hijack and take credit for the day. Please note that the petition gets the same response whether the MPs are sitting or not. The disruption to London happens whether MPs are there or not. Please also note the campaign's partner of the march is the Stop the Mangamizi Recharge Genocide Ecocide campaign, and it has other campaign tools which it utilizes 365/24/7 and has developed tools and lobbying guidances that support can use all year round, that supporters can use all around. Excuse me, Dougie. So please, let's focus on the wider picture of the milestone we seek contained in the petition, and in this way recognize that MPs being in recess on the 1st of August is really not a big deal for the above stated reason. Let us now consider how we are going to move forward towards our goals for our own contributions to reparatory justice and activism. When we in the African Emancipation Day Reparation March Committee emphasize that the march is not the whole reparations movement, and that's so key, but only an aspect of it in terms of the street protest that happens annually. It is important that other initiatives, that other groups, organizations and individuals in the African heritage community are showcased on the 1st of Messiah as stipulated in one of the aims of the march. Hence why we have chosen the theme, and this is the theme for this year: nothing about us without us, actualizing the reparatory justice change we envision for this year. So that's nothing about us without us. You can't discuss us, make any decision about us without us.
Then you see,
really talk. You know, we must be the ones who are there at the forefront of our own development and at the forefront of our own definition and defining who we are. Okay, just bringing it to a close. The challenge is being put to our people to bring forth and promote the work they have been doing on reparations all year round. So we're asking on the 1st of Messiah, you have your banner, you show what organisation, group you're in that is being representing and, you know, taking on the repertory change and the repertory healing that everyone needs to be doing. And that's the representation that we want, because everyone has a case that we need to put to the government. It's like the Peace and Reconciliation Conference. It's like the Grenfell at the moment. Everybody involved in that tragedy, all the families, extended families, can put their case across as to the damage, the harm that has taken place. So we, in this time, we can speak for our ancestors, as well as for our mothers and fathers, and as well as for ourselves and our children in this time about the harm and the damage that is ongoing, which we do call the Ma'angamizi. So we ourselves focus on the change that we are making individually and collectively. So that is the statement, my brother Dougie, from, you know, the African Emancipation Day Reparation March Committee, and that is, you know, for all of us to recognize the history and where we are, you know, now. Where we are now is in the present. And whatever the present, and that's what it is. It's about not being a prisoner of the past, but being a progenitor of the present, and that's what we're looking for in terms of reparation.
Okay then. I want to talk about the word you mentioned earlier on. Remember, I'll just explain that word there first. Is it called Ma'angamizi?
Yeah, Kiswahili word. And you know,
sorry, was it? Say it again. Say it again, please.
Kiswahili.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kiswahili word, which denotes great harm, you know, that is being done, and continued harm. Yes, it's a continued harm. It's almost a word that describes like something that is being treated in such an abhorrent way. You know, something that has been, you know, like you put at the bottom of your shoe and you're rubbing at the ground. You know what I mean? Something that has been, you know, not cared for, and the continued and it's damaging. We're talking about a system that is very damaging to our people. I want to try and find a statement that is written here on Stop the Ma'angamizi, which gives it a kind of a definition for it. But ultimately, ultimately what we're talking about is great harm, you know, and damage, great harm and damage that has been done and continues to be done, you know. So excuse me, I'm just trying to find a statement for you. So that's what people need to focus on. When we say stop the Ma'angamizi, we're saying any injustices that is being done against African people, you know, any pain, any hurt, any trauma that has been done against African people and is ongoing, we place within not a Holocaust and say, oh, you know, like that was a Holocaust that is past. We say this is the Ma'angamizi because it is ongoing. We're still being affected by the system of racism, white supremacy, and that is the Ma'angamizi for melanated people on the planet.
Okay then. So in terms of getting petitions, you know, what numbers are we looking at? Is it 50,000, 500,000? What's the numbers for the debate in Parliament?
Right. So the campaign, the reparation, what everyone is actually marching for also on the day is we're asking, one of our demands is for an all-parliamentary commission of inquiry. So that means it's an inquiry into this very unique, this very dear kind of issue concerning us that has been overlooked by governments, by nations, by education, by media, by the local man and woman on the street. So this needs to be mainstream. Every year people hear about the Holocaust of the Ashkenazi, but every year they need to be talking about the Holocaust and remembering and commemorating, allowing us to go to the river, you know, pour libation, allowing us to have our own day of appeasement, you know, of our ancestors worldwide. That's what we're actually talking about in terms of, you know, stopping the Ma'angamizi, you know, and our reparations. That's part of it. You know, that's the key element, is that we're taking a petition, which we need 100,000 signatures, which is an all-parliamentary commission of inquiry. So it doesn't matter which person is the leader of the government, we ask these people to sit and have an inquiry. But we've got our legal team. We're building our legal team. We're building our case also at the same time. So your story, Dougie, all SLR's listeners, Galaxy Radio listeners, you know, any other group, individual out there, their story is part of that case study. So people need to be writing it down, noting what's gone on for them, you know, and break it down in certain ways, as we say. How have you been affected by this society? Because this society is affecting us. We're in the media, you know, we're seeing foolishness like gun crime, knife crime, underemployment, and at the same time, we see the derogatory miseducation of imagery of African people on the television. You know, I don't care if it's Asher D or whoever it is. It doesn't mean nothing to me. All I see is two men brandishing guns and promoting more cops on rubber mentality that we've been seeing since John Wayne, you understand, or Clint Eastwood. And this needs to stop. This is a culture that is damaging, you know, to our psyche. And we need to be saying, stop your Angamizi, please, you know, or leave us. Let's find a place where we can live secretly without you, and you just stay away. Because and we're also asking them to repair the damages. Right. In reparation, we're talking about repairing what's gone on.
So it's about repairing. It's about repairing the mind. Yeah.
Repairing the people and giving people back their landmass, putting it back to a state before the damage. So we can be saying, like, look, all of your conglomerates and business and IMF deals, you know, get rid of it. Because before you came in and created this with Christopher Columbus and your other mates, and you understand, Cecil Rose and whoever else you had, you know, down the line, you would never be here. So we need to, do you understand, take it right back to when you weren't there. But at the same time, we have to remember.
Hold on. Oh, we lost our bedroom. Hopefully, your phone back on us. Because really during the reason, and one of the questions I was going to ask him is how this link with the other thing about the wind rush. But hopefully he'll phone back in a second. Just let people know the number is 07 9444 31366. I don't know what happened there. We just lost him, but you know, he was really giving some serious information. And one thing I want to ask him about, is this linked all over the world, you know? And reparation, that's the 1st of August. I think that day is on a Wednesday, I think, or a Tuesday. So, and it's at Brixton, assembled from about 11 or 10 o'clock. So hopefully brother will come in and give some more information. While we do that, I'm going to play some more of the reasoning. Just open up our minds with the consciousness. Just let people know this is Bless Radio.
No, you don't. The problems of the mind cannot be solved on the level of the mind. Once you've understood the basic dysfunction, there isn't really much else that you need to learn or understand. Studying the complexity of the mind may make you a good psychologist, but doing so won't take you beyond the mind, just as the study of madness isn't enough to create sanity. You have already understood the basic mechanics of the unconscious state, identification with the mind, which creates a false sense of self, the ego, as a substitute for your true self rooted in being. You become as a branch cut off from the vine, as Jesus puts it. The ego's needs are endless. It feels vulnerable and threatened, and so lives in a state of fear and want. Once you know how the basic dysfunction operates, there's no need to explore all its countless manifestations, no need to make it into a complex personal problem. The ego, of course, loves that. It is always seeking for something to attach itself to in order to uphold and strengthen its illusory sense of self. And it will readily attach itself to your problems. This is why, for so many people, a large part of their sense of self is intimately connected.
Greetings.
Yes, greetings, brother. Greetings.
Okay, we got the brother back. All right then. Well, my brother, there's a question I wanted to ask you about the I think. Well, I'm gonna ask the question again about the petition again. Just bring that down to us again. The numbers we need, yeah.
Okay, so the numbers we need 100,000 signatures.
100,000 signatures, yeah.
You can go to change.org. Mahunga Musi in the petition slot, just put in the Mahunga Musi and it will take you to the We Charge Genocide Ecocide petition. Stop the Mahunga Musi. Even if you go to change.org, search stop the Mahunga Musi. Mahunga Musi spelled MAANGAMIZI. Repeat that again. That's MAANGAMIZI. Mahunga Musi, Kiswahili word there.
Right. And
the petition, we need 100,000.
100,000
in order to get an audience with this government, or at least to get the question of reparation.
Right. But tell me, son, is what is our MPs, are they involved, or are they, have you speaking to the MPs them, like people like Dave Lammy, Dan Abbott, and is in the...
I mean, you look at it, right? I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
MPs are puppets.
Seen.
Standard. We don't work for them, they work for us.
Yeah.
And it's all in terms of politics, how well you can work them. I tell you. Right? That's why politicians can be bought. All right? So it's how well we work them, and this is what we need to understand. Kwame Nkrumah, Marcus Garvey were political. They wrote, they read, they knew how the enemy was thinking and how they tried to use legislation and law and politics. Remember, they wrote these papal bulls to say it's okay to go in and capture people's land and enslave the people. It was spiritually okay, God-given right to treat the most precious people on the planet, the most important people on the planet, the original people on the planet in this way. Terrible, and these are the things in which we need to bring them into the court of justice for. So as long as it gets on the table as a discussion, then it means we have to start actively pressure them more, you understand, lobby them more, because they've discussed it. And not only that, Dougie, because it goes down in history, goes down in the annals. So when our children make this same claim, they can't say what you're talking about. They say back in 20-something time, the family then, you understand, made a charge on them.
Yeah.
A legal charge. So what we're doing is we're helping our children. If it gets to that stage.
Right.
That was, we're showing that we've exhausted all legal, righteous means for necessary conversation and redress.
Right.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
And if without, saying too much, what comes next is maximum extreme emergency compensatory action, you understand? For justice.
Right.
And that's the best way I can put it. If people want to actually search and see what that means, that's good,
Right.
That's what we'll end up doing. Emergency, or
let me ask you the final question, because we got about not much time left, and I can reason with you all day and night because you got a wealth of information on Nigeria. You're very active and you're full on. But the question is, how would you link this with the whole thing about the Windrush? How do you see this link with the Windrush, and what's your perspective on the Windrush and them? Yeah.
The Windrush is another mind control, social engineering of those who haven't got their minds yet, to continue feeding them candy of this, or as they say, or continue feeding them the phantom of liberty, the phantom of here's your identity, now you're a British subject, bam, you understand? Scale a building, risk your life, try and save somebody else, in order for you to get a residency or a stay. But what you're losing at the same time, this is part of the
get out as diasporans, others are trying to get in. So the question is, we've got to look at this globally, you know, as a whole measure, you know, what is taking place in motherland as we know, you understand, and needs to be sorted out for our repatriation, repatriation, so excuse me, our repatriation and our repatriation. That's part of our repair, you know. How do we live as Africans again? How do we change our dial? Because we've been on Babylon time so long, you know. Tick, 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 tick,
Seen.
tick. You understand?
Seen.
So it's about getting ourselves back into the tempo, back into the modality, the thinking, the behavior, and keeping out Wazungu's ideas and madness that's created this health problems, you know.
Okay.
So, educating, you know, mainly educating. That's the key thing, Brother Douglas. This is why we say to people, please read. And if you cannot read, let someone read to you. Because what will happen from that is a discussion will ensue. And that's what we want people to do, just talking. But get the idea that, no, I'm read. Let somebody read to you. And you love listening to music. That's somebody reading to you. Song, fine. Yeah. Same as the Ethiopian priests, or you understand, when you hear them speaking, you know, in the birds, it's like song. No talk. Say to people, you know, we know who we are, and you know, we have to get back to that. But let me give some important details before you have to go there.
Yeah. Give it some details. I'm gonna say to you, give it some details, please. You know, we've got about 4 minutes left, so we're racing against the clock. Yeah.
Alright. Two things. The number. Contact us for more information and how we can get involved in your area and help you set up some outreach, you know, discussion groups, you know, real talk. So give us a call. The number is 07922035446. Once again, that's 07922035446. And check out the websites, family. Do go to the website. As I said, read. Right? We'll talk. Go to the website www.reparationsmarch.org, and also go to, in terms of campaign aspect, right? As we would say, all the W's, stopthemangameasy.com, stopthemangameasy.com, and please go to gofundme.com/UK March. All right? Could have given out the bank details, but time.
Okay. Well, listen, we'd definitely like to get you to drop in upon us next week and get some more information up to date. And it really is a pleasure to have you on this call here. I know you was in a meeting, so we had to drag you out to, you know. So we really want to give thanks to you, my brother. You really have a beautiful soul. It's not but love we have for you, and everybody loves you, what you're doing, my brother. You're really a beautiful brother, beautiful soul. All right then, so give thanks, yeah?
Give thanks, brother Doug.
Yeah, man, one love. All right. Okay, that was our beautiful brother joining us. So sharing some information.
From time to presence. Suddenly, everything feels alive, radiates energy, emanates being. In life-threatening emergency situations, the shift in consciousness from time to presence sometimes happens naturally. The personality that has a past and a future momentarily recedes and is replaced by an intense conscious presence, very still but very alert at the same time. Whatever response is needed then arises out of that state of consciousness. The reason why some people love to engage in dangerous activities such as mountain climbing, car racing and so on, although they may not be aware of it, is that it forces them into the now. That intensely alive state that is free of time, free of problems, free of thinking, free of the burden of the personality. Slipping away from the present moment even for a second may mean death. Unfortunately, they come to depend on a particular activity to be in that state. But you don't need to climb the north face of the Eiger. You can enter that state now.
Okay then, we're going to bring this segment to a close because we do have our next DJ will be joining us soon, and we really had a good show. We had earlier on we had the Jam Master show, just talking about the whole thing about what we was talking about. We was talking about health. Yeah, if I remember, health. Yes, talk about health. Talk about alcohol. Talk about emotions. What affects our emotions. Yeah. And not too long we had a brother talking about reparation, and that brother had a beautiful soul about him. Beautiful soul. And also we had brother Colin talking about health, talking about foot massage, and we call him the Miracle Man. That's what we call him, the Miracle Man. Boy, I recognize that big superstar inside the wholesale. I came to his event, and he was electrifying. That's what I have to say. You know, I wonder if he's got his Rolls Royce outside there or some limousine. You know, and so you know, trust me, when he comes on, man, you're gonna be blown away in terms of he's got a presence about him. That's what I have to say. Got a beautiful smile, and everybody loves him. Everybody knows about him, you know. And you know, I know he's got a limousine, but probably just being a bit modest. He doesn't want to drive a limousine about the place, you know. But he's a big don. Okay, I'm gonna bring this segment to a close. So again, give thanks. Really is a pleasure to reason ones and ones, and so give thanks.
It does not require an answer on the level of the mind. It is designed to take your attention deeply into the now. A similar question in the Zen tradition is this: if not now, when? The now is also central to the teaching of Sufism, the mystical branch of Islam. Sufis have a saying: the Sufi is the son of time present. And Rumi, the great poet and teacher of Sufism, declares, past and future veil God from our sight. Burn up both of them with fire. Meister Eckhart, the 13th century spiritual teacher, summed it all up beautifully. Time is what keeps the light from reaching us. There is no greater obstacle to God than time.
A moment ago, when you talked about the eternal present and the unreality of past and future, I found myself looking at that tree outside the window. I had looked at it a few times before, but this time it was different. The external perception had not changed much, except that the colors seemed brighter and more vibrant. But there was now an added dimension to it. It's hard to explain. I don't know how, but I was aware of something invisible that I felt was the essence of that tree. Its inner spirit, if you like. And somehow I was part of that. I realize now that I hadn't truly seen the tree before, just a flat and dead image of it. When I look at the tree now, some of that awareness is still present, but I can feel it slipping away. You see, the experience is already receding into the past. Can something like this ever be more than a fleeting glimpse?
You were free of time for a moment. You moved into the now and therefore perceived the tree without the screen of mind. The awareness of being became part of your perception. With the timeless dimension comes a different kind of knowing, one that does not kill the spirit that lives within every creature and everything. A knowing that does not destroy the sacredness and mystery of life, but contains a deep love and reverence for all that is. A knowing of which the mind knows nothing. The mind cannot know the tree. It can only know facts or information about the tree. My mind cannot know you, only labels, judgments, facts and opinions about you. Being alone knows directly. There's a place for mind and mind knowledge. It is in the practical realm of day-to-day living. However, when it takes over all aspects of your life, including your relationships with other human beings and with nature, it becomes a monstrous parasite that, unchecked, may well end up killing all life on the planet and finally itself by killing its host. You have had a glimpse of how the timeless can transform your perceptions. But an experience is not enough, no matter how beautiful or profound. What is needed and what we are concerned with is a permanent shift in consciousness. So break the old pattern of present moment denial and present moment resistance. Make it your practice to withdraw attention from past and future whenever they are not needed. Step out of the time dimension as much as possible in everyday life. If you find it hard to enter the now directly, start by observing the habitual tendency of your mind to want to escape from the now. You will observe that the future is usually imagined as either better or worse than the present. If the imagined future is better, it gives you hope or pleasurable anticipation. If it is worse, it creates anxiety. Both are illusory. Through self-observation, more presence comes into your life automatically. The moment you realize you are not present, you are present. Whenever you are able to observe your mind, you are no longer trapped in it. Another factor has come in, something that is not of the mind. The witnessing presence. Be present as the watcher of your mind, of your thoughts and emotions, as well as your reactions in various situations. Be at least as interested in your reactions as in the situation or person that causes you to react. Notice also how often your attention is in the past or future. Don't judge or analyze what you observe. Watch the thought, feel the emotion, observe the reaction. Don't make a personal problem out of them. You will then feel something more powerful than any of those things that you observe. The still observing presence itself behind the content of your mind, the silent watcher. Intense presence is needed when certain situations trigger a reaction with a strong emotional charge, such as when your self-image is threatened, a challenge comes into your life that triggers fear, things go wrong, or an emotional complex from the past is brought up. In those instances, the tendency is for you to become unconscious. The reaction or emotion takes you over. You become it. You act it out. You justify, make wrong, attack, defend. Except that it isn't you. It's the reactive pattern, the mind in its habitual survival mode. Identification with the mind gives it more energy. Observation of the mind withdraws energy from it. Identification with the mind creates more time. Observation of the mind opens up the dimension of the timeless. The energy that is withdrawn from the mind turns into presence. Once you can feel what it means to be present, it becomes much easier to simply choose to step out of the time dimension whenever time is not needed for practical purposes and move more deeply into the now. This does not impair your ability to use time, past or future, when you need to refer to it for practical matters. Nor does it impair your ability to use your mind. In fact, it enhances it. When you do use your mind, it will be sharper, more focused. Learn to use time in the practical aspects of your life. We may call this clock time. But immediately return to present moment awareness when those practical matters have been dealt with. In this way, there will be no build-up of psychological time, which is identification with the past and continuous compulsive projection into the future. Clock time is not just making an appointment or planning a trip. It includes learning from the past, so that we don't repeat the same mistakes over and over. setting goals and working towards them, predicting the future by means of patterns and laws, physical, mathematical, and so on, learned from the past, and taking appropriate action on the basis of our predictions. But even here, within the sphere of practical living, where we cannot do without reference to past and future, the present moment remains the essential factor. Any lesson from the past becomes relevant and is applied now. Any planning, as well as working towards achieving a particular goal, is done now. The enlightened person's main focus of attention is always the now, but they are still peripherally aware of time. In other words, they continue to use clock time, but are free of psychological time. Be alert as you practice this so that you do not unwittingly transform clock time into psychological time. For example, if you made a mistake in the past and learn from it now, you are using clock time. On the other hand, if you dwell on it mentally and self-criticism, remorse or guilt come up, then you are making the mistake into me and mine. You make it part of your sense of self, and it has become psychological time, which is always linked to a false sense of identity. Non-forgiveness necessarily implies a heavy burden of psychological time. If you set yourself a goal and work towards it, you're using clock time. You're aware of where you want to go, but you honor and give your fullest attention to the step that you're taking at this moment. If you then become excessively focused on the goal, perhaps because you're seeking happiness, fulfillment, or a more complete sense of self in it, the now is no longer honored. It becomes reduced to a mere stepping stone to the future, with no intrinsic value. Clock time then turns into psychological time. Your life's journey is no longer an adventure, just an obsessive need to arrive, to attain, to make it. You no longer see or smell the flowers by the wayside either, nor are you aware of the beauty and the miracle of life that unfolds all around you when you are present in the now.
I can see the supreme importance of the now, but I can't quite go along with you when you say that time is a complete illusion.